Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in our 48th edition of the Sunday Synergy virtual webinar. And today we have a very exciting topic. We try to bring a lot of diverse topic, right, in from different domains, from academia, from for the teenage challenges and academics, right, and the industry academia collaboration. We try to always navigate in the various dimensions or the various areas where we can bring in some value for our audience. So today we have got a very interesting topic which we are all familiar with, but there are a lot of things happening behind the scene. So today our topic would be from networks to intelligence, demystifying the future of communication. Now think about the last time when you made a video call, streamed a movie, used digital payments, or asked an AI assistant a question. Behind each of these everyday moment is a communication network quietly making it all possible. For years, we measured this network by their speed, their coverage, and the reliability. But today, something remarkable is happening. Networks are no longer just transporting the data, they are becoming intelligent as well. They are learning, predicting, self optimizing, self healing, and increasingly making decisions in the real time. As AI becomes embedded into the fabric of the communications, we are entering an era where the conversation is no longer just about connectivity, but it is also about intelligence. Now, this transformation is redefining not only the telecom industry, but also the future of the connected business from healthcare to manufacturing to finance, education, and smart cities as well. To help us navigate this exciting journey, we are delighted to have with us Ms. Paromita Ghosh, Business Management and Analytics Lead, Industrialized Software Delivery at Ericsson. With over 2 decades of leadership experience across Ericsson, IBM, and Wipro, Paromita has been at the forefront of driving telecom transformation through business strategy, analytics, agile delivery, cloud technologies, and large scale global programs. So, today we will explore how communications are evolving beyond 5G, the role of AI native and autonomous networks with the technologies that shaping the next decade, and the skills the professionals will need to thrive in this rapidly changing landscape. So, without further ado, let's dive into this fascinating conversation. Baromita, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to AI Agile Synergy webinar.
Thank you, Shubho. Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure coming back as well.
Thank you so much. Now, if we look back, the success of telecom network was measured by how well it connected people, as I said, with better coverage, higher speed, and fewer dropped calls. Now, today, the expectations are very different. Networks are becoming the intelligent system that can analyze, predict, adapt, and even make decisions autonomously. And this shift is not just a technology evolution, it's fundamentally changing how business operate and how we experience digital services. So, Paromita, from your perspective, how do you define this transition from the network to intelligence, and why is it such a pivotal moment for the communication industry? Over to you.
A very important question to be just the first one, Shubho, because for more than a century, the communication industry has been driven by one fundamental mission: connecting people, right? So every generation of technology from fixed line telephony to 5G has focused on making communication faster, more reliable,
Right.
and more accessible. Today, we are witnessing something deeper in transformation. Communication is no longer just about connecting people,
Correct.
it's about connecting people, machines, applications, and increasingly AI agents, as you just mentioned in the introduction as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, more importantly, networks are evolving from being passive transport systems into intelligent platforms because that is the need of the hour and capable of sensing, learning, predicting, and making decisions. So, in the past, intelligence was largely residing into the endpoints,
Correct.
the devices, and the applications. Now, intelligence is getting embedded within the network itself.
Hmm.
So AI-enabled networks will anticipate congestion before users even experience it. It
Correct.
will optimize traffic dynamically. It will detect anomalies, heal faults autonomously, and continuously improve in their own performance as well.
Right.
So, this is why we often talk about moving from networks to intelligence,
Correct.
where the network is no longer just carrying information, it is becoming an active participant in delivering better outcomes.
True.
I believe this is one of the most significant shifts the communication industry has ever seen. Just as cloud infrastructure
Hmm.
transformed IT from
Right.
infrastructure to services, cloud as a service, we all
Right.
know, AI is transforming communication from connectivity to cognitive infrastructure. So,
True.
over the next decade, communications will become the intelligent foundation for autonomous vehicles, smart factories,
Right.
digital healthcare, immersive experiences, and critical public services. In that sense, communications network will increasingly resemble the digital nervous system of society,
Correct.
always connected, always learning, and always adapting.
Brilliant. Now, as you said, um, we are learning, self-healing, optimizing on the fly. That reminds me one personal experience when I started my career, right? It was around 2003 and I was in Hyderabad. And I still remember that 31st December celebration. We were all around the Hussain Sagar. And everyone was kind of wishing us Happy New Year, but the call was not going either. Call was not getting
Mm,
connected, right? We could not even send a message, right? Yeah, we all have had moments when the video call suddenly switches to a better network without interruption, or when our mobile connection remains stable despite thousands of people being connected at a stadium or a concert. Now, behind these experiences, AI is increasingly helping networks monitor conditions, anticipate congestion, and optimize performance in real time. It's a significant shift from AI simply running on networks to AI becoming part of the network's own intelligence. So, Paramita, where do you already see this AI is delivering measurable value in the telecom operation, and what excites you most about the next 5 years? You already talked about, right, in the 10 years you are expecting a huge transformation,
yeah,
but if I even, right, reduce the timeline, what excites you most about the next 5 years?
yeah. It's not that everything will be hunky-dory. Just as we saw, there can be network glitches even now as well. But
Right.
we are already seeing AI move beyond experimentation into delivering. So when we say that we have come a long way, there is a lot to cover as well. So now the measurable business values across communication operations part is now getting triggered as well, and then they are getting improved. Today, AI is helping operations optimize network performance, predict faults before they impact customers largely, and automate incident management, improve energy efficiency, which is a very significant part of it, and reduce the time required to solve network issues. So one of the most tangible example I think is predictive operations. So instead of waiting for alarms to go off um, in that television that the knock operators used to see
Hmm.
and reacting to outages, AI analyzes millions of network events in real time
Right.
to identify patterns, predict potential failures, and recommend or even execute corrective actions. So, this improves the network availability while
Hmm.
reducing operational cost. Another area is resource optimization.
Hmm.
So AI helps operators dynamically allocate network resources based on the traffic patterns. We talk about the World Cups of the world, right?
Correct.
And then various other initiatives which happen. So it improves spectrum utilization, energy consumption, and overall customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
We are also seeing AI accelerate customer support through intelligent virtual assistants and assist engineers with faster root cause analysis, software development, and operational decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what excites me most, however, is that these are just the early chapters of the story. Over the next 5 years, I believe we will transition from AI assisted operations to true AI driven operations.
Wow.
So networks will increasingly become autonomous,
Mm-hmm.
capable of monitoring themselves, learning from experience, optimizing performance continuously, and recovering from faults with minimum human interventions. I also see AI transforming how communication networks support entirely new industries because how the organizations are going, various new things are coming, use cases which are coming, which were never thought of before. So, as AI applications become more distributed from autonomous vehicles, smart factories to robotics and digital healthcare, networks themselves will need to become AI aware, delivering the right compute, connectivity, and latency
Mm-hmm.
exactly where it is needed and when it is needed. So
Correct.
ultimately, AI won't replace network engineers, it will elevate their role. So instead of spending time on of the engineers will on repetitive operational tasks, engineers will be focusing on architecture, innovation, governance,
Right.
and creating new services and deliver great business value.
Brilliant. Now, think about some of the world's more trusted brands, whether it is ordering from e-commerce platform, booking a cab, or making a digital payment. As customers, we expect a consistent experience every single time. Yet, we also expect these services to be continuously introduce new features and innovations. Behind the scenes, that balance is achieved through standardized processes that ensure reliability, while agile ways of working create room for experimentation and continuous improvement. The telecom industry faces a very similar challenge. The networks and the services demands high level of consistency, quality, and reliability. But at the same time, the organizations must innovate rapidly to keep pace with evolving technologies and customer expectation. So, Paramita, in your one of the recent posts, you highlighted the importance of standardized delivery methodologies powered by Agile. Many organizations worry that the standardization reduces the innovation part. So, how can telecom organizations achieve both consistency and continuous innovation?
First of all, thanks for noticing my post. That's a great question because it's a common misconception that standardization limits innovation. In fact, I believe the opposite is true. In my recent post, I talked about standardizing delivery methodologies in telecom with agile at the core.
Correct.
My perspective is that standardization is not about making every team think alike.
Right.
It's about giving every team a strong foundation to innovate faster and more confidently.
Mm-hmm.
And the communications industry is becoming increasingly complex.
True.
Today, we are delivering cloud native networks, AI enabled operations, open RAN, edge computing, and even 6G. If every project follows a different delivery methodology, different governance, and different quality practices, organizations spend more time managing complexity than creating customer value.
Right.
That's why I advocate standardizing the how common delivery playbooks, DevSecOps, pipelines, engineering practices, governance, KPIs, reusable assets, etc. Once those foundations are in place, teams can now focus their creativity on the what new customer solutions, what AI driven capabilities, what new automation can be done, and different services. Agile plays a critical role here because it provides both discipline and adaptability. It
True.
gives a consistent framework for execution while encouraging continuous feedback, experimentation, and learning. Innovation doesn't happen outside the process, it happens because the process removes unnecessary friction, my perspective. Another aspect I highlighted in my post is the importance of communities of practice and
Right.
dedicated innovation time. Right? Standardization should never become rigid. Organizations need mechanisms where engineers share learnings, build reusable assets, experiment with new ideas, and continuously evolve the standards themselves. So, for me, the objective isn't standardization for its own sake.
Mm-hmm.
It's about creating an environment where innovation becomes repeatable, scalable, and reliable.
Right.
Another very pertinent aspect is how industry is treating competition. Remember DeepSeek?
Right.
DeepSeek? It started with a price war. So
Right.
baseline quality only, but
Mm-hmm.
dirt cheap price level. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a few days back, we heard about Kimi K3. It's comparable at price, but quality wise, even better to some of the lower level items there. So the players are competing at a different level. Apple has long been a strategic partnership with OpenAI, right? We have heard. This July, we heard Apple sues OpenAI for poaching their employees and getting inside information. So business models are changing. The industry is super dynamic. We have the cooperation and strategic partnerships in one hand and fierce competition on the other. So we need to be agile in terms of technology as well as business policies. And that can only come when we have standardized the basic things and then innovate on top of it. So that's how organizations can focus both on operational excellence and continuous innovation. And the organizations by that will not only survive but thrive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't agree more on that. No, it's a fantastic balance, right, that you talked about, right, bringing both standardization and it's a complete misconception that the standardization and the innovation cannot go hand in hand. And you nicely explained that. Thank you so much for that. Now, coming to the next part, like technology has always evolved in waves. Now, whether it is telecom or banking, right, or AI or whatever, right, you take. In fact, in Agile also, we have seen the transformation, right, from 2001 to 2026. So we moved from 2G enabling voice calls to 3G bringing mobile internet, 4G powering the app economy, and finally now 5G is unlocking faster, more connected experience. Yet, even as 5G continues to expand, the industry is already looking ahead to 6G, AI native network, edge computing, programmable network, and satellite integrated connectivity. For most people, these may sound like a futuristic concept, but they will influence everything from the autonomous vehicle, right, to smart factories, to immersive healthcare, education, and entertainment. The question is no longer just what is coming next, but which of these technologies will truly reshape business in our daily lives. So, Paramita, with which emerging technologies do you believe will have the greatest business impact over the next decade and why?
Very true, Shubho. I think it is important to recognize that the next decade isn't about one breakthrough technology.
Hmm.
It's about the convergence of multiple technologies that together redefine how communication networks are built, are monetized. If I had to prioritize, I would place AI native networks at the top.
Right,
AI will become the intelligence layer of the entire communications ecosystem, from network planning and service operations to customer experience. Every major investment over the next decade will in some way be AI enabled. The second major trend is the evolution towards programmable and API driven networks. So it's kind
correct,
of exposure and available to everyone, kind of democratized one. So historically, networks provided connectivity. Going forward, they will expose network capabilities like quality of service, location, security, latency as programmable services. This creates entirely new business model, allowing developers and enterprises to build innovative applications directly on top of communication networks. Now, the third is the convergence of edge computing and cloud native infrastructure and 6G.
Right.
So, AI applications, industrial automation, mobility, autonomous mobility, and immersive experiences, digital twins, AR, VR, right? All require ultra low latency and distributed intelligence. So processing data closer to where it is generated will become essential, making edge computing a critical component of future communication architectures. Finally, while 6G attracts considerable attention, as you just mentioned, I see
Mm.
it less as the next generation of mobile technology, how we had 2G, 3G, 4G. It's not just next generation. It's more as a platform that will unify AI sensing, communications, and computing. So, in many ways, 6G will be the operating environment for an intelligent digital society rather than simply a faster network. As I said, 6G is not a stronger horse with a bigger mane, which
Correct.
5G was.
Right.
So, ultimately, I believe the greatest business impact won't be coming from any single technology,
Mm-hmm.
but it will come from organizations that successfully integrate AI, cloud, programmable networks, and edge computing into new customer experiences and industry specific solutions. So become more agile, more resilient, things will follow.
Brilliant. Excellent. Excellent insight about, right, the different priorities, right, the way you are seeing things. Brilliant.
Mm.
Now, coming to a different area, maybe we all talk about quantum computer, and whenever we hear the word quantum, most of us immediately think about futuristic quantum computers that are still years away from mainstream adoption. But the reality is that quantum technologies are evolving in multiple directions. It's not only focusing on the quantum computing, but there are multiple other areas to navigate through. And some believe the businesses may benefit from the quantum networks much sooner than they see the practical quantum computers. And that raises an interesting question. Are we preparing for the right future? Are we waiting for the wrong milestone? If quantum networks can transform secure communication, data exchange, digital infrastructure before quantum computers or computing become commonplace, technology leaders need to start planning today rather than reacting tomorrow. So, in your again recently, one of the interesting perspective that you have shared that enterprise may experience quantum networks before practical quantum computers. What does this actually mean for the businesses, and why should technology leaders start paying attention today rather than waiting for the future?
Yes, Yashovat, the key message of my post was not that quantum computers are just arriving tomorrow, though not far
Mm-hmm.
at all. It is that the first business impact of quantum technology may come through
Mm-hmm.
quantum networks
Mm-hmm.
rather than standalone quantum computers.
Mm-hmm.
So when we often imagine the quantum future as powerful computers solving impossible problems, but before that vision becomes before before it becomes mainstream, we likely to see organizations adopting quantum network capabilities, particularly for ultra secure communications, distributed quantum systems, and critical infrastructure. That's significant because communication networks have historically been the first platform on which new computing paradigms are built. So, just as the internet transformed how we accessed computing, quantum networks could become the foundation for future quantum services.
Right.
So for business, this isn't about replacing today's infrastructure overnight. It's about understanding that sectors such as finance, defense, healthcare, and governance uh, may become adopting quantum safe computing and quantum network capabilities long
Mm-hmm.
before practical large scale quantum computers even become commonplace. So, researchers are already demonstrating quantum networking over existing fiber infrastructure. showing that this transition is moving from theory towards practical implementation very
Right.
soon.
Mm-hmm.
So the question for technology leaders isn't when will quantum computers come alive?
Mm-hmm.
So the more relevant question is my organization preparing for a world where communication itself becomes quantum secure and quantum enabled? So
Excellent.
preparation doesn't mean making large investments today.
Mm-hmm.
It means building awareness, identifying where the cryptography and secure communications are business critical, monitoring standards, and developing a roadmap
Mm-hmm.
for quantum safe migration. There are far more strategic and practical approach than waiting until disruption is already under the way. So history shows us organizations that prepare early don't necessarily spend more, they adapt faster. And with technologies like quantum, preparedness may well become a competitive advantage.
Correct. Correct. Instead of waiting and respond in a reactive manner, it is better to get
Yeah,
prepared, right? So, and take some proactive measures. Fantastic.
right.
So, when people think of agile, they often picture software startups delivering new features every few weeks. Telecom, however, presents a very different reality. Managing massive infrastructure, global operations, mission critical services, and millions of customers who expect uninterrupted connectivity 24 cross 7. At first glance, it may seem like an industry where rapid change is difficult to achieve. But yet, over the years, telecom organizations have successfully embraced agile to accelerate delivery, improve collaboration, and respond more effectively to evolving customer and the business needs without compromising quality or reliability. So, telecom has traditionally been associated with large scale infrastructure, long delivery cycle, and complex operation. Now, in your point of view, how has Agile transformed service delivery in this environment, and what lessons can other industries learn from telecom?
That's a fascinating question, Shubho, because telecom is often perceived as an industry where change is inherently slow. Now, think
Right.
about how we do it in Agile. It's a smaller software or a smaller piece of delivery, MPPs, then bigger, then
Mm.
feedback loops, and etc. Now, if you think about telecom, there are boxes like hardware. So we can't have a small box installed and then the bigger box installed and the bigger box installed. Like
Right.
it's difficult, right? So we deal with mission critical infrastructure, complex ecosystems, global standards, regulatory requirements, and services that millions of people rely on every day.
Mm-hmm.
At first glance, it may seem like the opposite of an agile environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, I believe Agile has fundamentally transformed on not just how we deliver, but how we think about delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, telecom projects followed a long planning cycles with success measured only at the end of the project.
Mm-hmm.
Agile shifted the focus to continuous value delivery, where customer feedback, incremental releases, and cross functional collaborations become central to execution. But perhaps the bigger transformation is the cultural one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Agile has encouraged organizations to move away from siloed execution towards empowered multidisciplinary teams that can make faster decisions and adapt to changing priorities and continuously improve. At the same time, telecom has also demonstrated that agile doesn't mean abandoning discipline. In an industry where reliability, security, compliance, and these are non-negotiable, right? So agile has evolved alongside robust engineering governance, DevSecOps, automation, and standardized delivery practices. That combination has allowed us to become more responsive without compromising on the quality. I think that's the biggest lesson for every industry. Agility is not about moving faster at any cost. It's about creating the capability to respond to changes while maintaining predictability and trust. As
Fantastic.
AI becomes embedded into software engineering and network operations, this philosophy becomes even more important.
True.
Organizations that combine agile ways of working with standardized engineering, automation, and AI enabled decision making will be the best positioned to innovate, even scale the innovation.
Agree, agree. And agile is also not static, right? The way we used to operate agile, right, in 2000, maybe the first 10 years of agile, and the way we are operating agile today, right? This has also seen a significant shift. And agile is also learning, right? As you rightly mentioned, it is also an adaptive things, and also
Yeah,
it is not about just going by the guideline. You adapt to the situation and apply it in based on your own needs. So to make it more pragmatic and conducive for your situation. Very nicely put.
absolutely.
Now, coming to another area like AI, we have been talking about the impact of AI in the telecom. So AI is enabling networks to make decisions faster than the humans ever could. And whether it is in optimizing traffic, detecting cyber threats, and automatically restoring services during outages, as users, we appreciate the convenience and reliability. And today we have also seen that, right? It's a small glitch, but immediately, right, without doing anything, it brought me in, right, to the conversation, right, without doing anything. So, as users, we appreciate the convenience and reliability often without realizing how much automation is happening behind the scene. But with
Yeah.
greater autonomy comes greater responsibility. As organizations embrace AI driven decision making, questions around trust, transparency, security, governance, and accountability become just as important as innovation itself. After all, while AI can augment human capabilities, decisions that impact millions of users and critical infrastructure still require confidence, oversight, and ethical guardrails. So, if we think from that ethical part of AI, as communication network becomes increasingly autonomous, how do we balance innovation with this ethical part, trust, security, governance, and responsible AI? Where should organization draw the line between the automation and the human oversight, which we typically call HITL or human in the loop?
I believe that's the future of communications.
Right.
It isn't simply about building the more autonomous networks, but it
Hmm.
is about building trustworthy autonomous networks.
Correct.
Throughout the history, every major technological advancement has succeeded because people trusted it.
Hmm.
The same principle applies to AI. Innovation without trust simply doesn't scale, and we see how one organization is suing the other because the trust is being lost, where they are strategic partners, and this will go on for long. What it seems. So, as communication networks become increasingly autonomous, we need to embed security, governance, transparency, and ethics into the design itself, not treat
Correct.
them as afterthought, right?
Absolutely.
So, AI should be explainable,
Hmm.
where decisions impact customers, resilient against cyber threats, compliant with regulations, and continuously monitored for bias drift and in unintended consequences. The second principle is human accountability,
Hmm.
where AI will increasingly automate operational decisions such as traffic optimization, fault prediction, energy management. Accountability must always remain with people. So, if we should think of AI as augmenting human expertise, not replacing human responsibility,
Correct.
right? So, I also believe organizations should adopt a risk based approach to autonomy,
Hmm.
like routine, repetitive, low risk decisions can be highly automated. As the potential impact of the decision increases, whether it's customer experience, national infrastructure, safety, security, or regulatory compliance, the level of human oversight should increase. It should be increasing according to the risk. So, in other words, not every decision deserves the same degree of automation.
Hmm.
Looking ahead, I think all of one of the most important leadership capabilities won't be deciding where to use AI, but deciding when not to use AI.
Correct.
So, responsible organizations will be those that innovate boldly
Hmm.
while maintaining clear governance, transparency, and human accountability. So, when we
Hmm.
say why this result is there, it should be trackable. So
Correct.
this is the logic. That's why this result is there. Ultimately, trust will become more valuable currency in the AI era. Organizations can earn that trust, and then will be the ones that lead the next generation of communications.
Excellent. So far, it has been a fascinating conversation, and we are almost coming to the last question, right? And which is a very pertinent one. So whether it's a family planning for the future or a business deciding where to invest, resources are always limited than the expectation or the demand. We can't invest in everything at once, so prioritization becomes critical. We can't. The same is true for the telecom industry. While new technologies emerge almost every day, organizations must decide which innovation will deliver the greatest long-term value for the customers, business, and the society. Now, think about buying a smartphone. Most of us don't choose it based on just one feature. We look for the overall package, performance, battery life, camera, security, AI capability, how future ready it is. The telecom industry facing a similar challenge today. It's no longer about investing in a single technology, it's about building an ecosystem of capabilities that can support the next decade of innovation. So, Paramita, as we look beyond 5G, where do you see the telecom industry is making its biggest strategic investment over the next decade? Which technology areas do you believe will shape the future of communication the most?
See, the industry's annual expenditure remains enormous. It started with about 40 billion US dollar in
Wow.
early years in this decade, like 2020s. So with when the investment was with the early adopters, it was 40 billion. Current around 400 billions with the
Wow.
AI data center boom, and expected to be more than a trillion in the early like 2030s, 6 years down the line when
Mm,
AI become core infrastructure.
mm,
But the investment mix is changing. So
mm,
operators are moving beyond traditional radio infrastructure towards software defined, AI enabled, cloud native networks. So investment priorities now include AI, 5G standalone network APIs, edge computing, and Open RAN, and non-terrestrial networks. So as we move beyond 5G, I believe the communication industry is entering one of the most significant investment cycles in history. The focus is no longer just on building faster networks. It is about building intelligent, programmable, resilient, sustainable digital industry.
mm.
And will be powered by the AI economy. So, if I look at where communication giants are making the biggest strategic bets over the next decade, I see eight eight critical investment areas.
Okay.
The first is perhaps the most transformative. It is the
Mm,
AI native networks. AI will no longer sit on top of networks, right? It will become the integral part of the network itself. So, from
correct.
planning and optimization to fault prediction and customer experience, AI will enable networks in continuously learning, adapting, and optimizing in real time because it is inside the network. The second is autonomous network. The
Mm,
vision is to move from manually operated networks to network that can monitor, diagnose, optimize, and even heal themselves with minimum human intervention. This isn't about replacing the engineers, as I mentioned earlier as well. It is
correct.
about allowing engineers to focus on more innovative tasks, more human-like tasks, while AI automates repetitive operational tasks.
Mm-hmm.
The third is 6G.
Mm,
While commercial deployment is still several years away, at least in our country, investments in research and global standardization are already seeing acceleration. So 6G won't simply offer higher speed, it is expected to introduce AI native architecture, integrated sensing, distributed intelligence, and immersive digital experience, fundamentally redefining how communication networks operate. Number four is cloud native networks. So, networks are increasingly becoming software defined and cloud native, enabling faster service deployment,
mm-hmm.
elastic scalability, continuous software updates, and much greater operational agility. The
Mm,
transformation is bringing telecommunications closer to the modern software engineering.
mm-hmm.
And the next one, which is like one of my most uh, interesting one, or I'm most interested about, because that will be the most disruptive one, which is the
Hmm.
non-terrestrial networks.
Wow. Hmm.
It's integrating terrestrial infrastructure with satellites and high altitude platforms. The objective is seamless global connectivity. Whether it is remote village, aircraft, a sea in the ocean, in the maritime routes, or disaster recovery scenarios, the future network will extend far beyond traditional cell towers and how we have seen the honeycomb
Hmm.
structure throughout our
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
We are also seeing significant investment in programmable networks through standard network APIs or the exposures as we see. So this opens the network to developers, allowing applications to securely access capabilities such as quality of service, location, network intelligence. The most important part here is the security. So if it
Hmm.
is exposed, then you are running on a higher vulnerability as well. But
Correct.
it creates an entirely new innovative ecosystem where the network becomes a programmable platform rather than just a connectivity provider. Also, as networks become more intelligent and software driven, cybersecurity becomes more critical. So
Contact minimum. Yep.
at the same time, organizations are beginning to prepare for a future where quantum computing could challenge today's encryption method. Investment in quantum resilient security isn't about solving tomorrow's problem today. It's about ensuring that today's infrastructure remains secure in the decades ahead.
Right.
And finally, sustainability. So
Hmm.
it is becoming a strategic priority rather than a competitive initiative. AI enabled energy optimizations, intelligent resource management, greener network infrastructure. We see a lot of development in the zero power antennas, etc. So
Hmm.
they will play a vital role in reducing operational cost while supporting the global sustainability goals. So
Excellent.
when we look at these investments together, a clear pattern emerges. The future isn't defined by a single technology, which
Right.
I'm kind of repeating.
Hmm.
It is defined by a convergence of AI, cloud, software, automation, security, and sustainability. I believe communication is evolving from connectivity business into an intelligent digital infrastructure platform. It will underpin autonomous transportation, smart factories, smart manufacturing, digital healthcare, immersive technologies. So, if the last 2 decades were about connecting billions of people, the next decade will be connecting billions of intelligent systems. That's the future of communication technology, and that is where people are investing today.
Excellent. Brilliant. So it was a, I mean, last 45 minutes just passed like that, like so much of information, right? Brilliant. Now let's add a little bit of fun element here, right? This conversation, and let's start with a quick rapid fire round. So 5G or 6G, which one excites you more and why? Already, I think you have given that answer, but still, which one excites you
Here,
more and why?
yeah, it's kind of personal. Now it will be like my own personal person speaking. It's like it's 5G because
Ah,
it has a quantum leap. Like from
ah,
4G to 5G, the gap is huge.
right.
5G has 5G, 5G standard, 5G hybrid, 5G standalone, then 5G advanced, then it
Uh-huh.
becomes 6G. If we are successful in 5G, 6G success will become more probable. That's why I go with 5G.
Wonderful. AI or human intuition, when it comes to making critical business decision, which one would you trust more?
Absolutely, human intelligence and human intuition, because what AI is doing is probably it's based on the historical data, and then it is creating the things which seems to be very logical, very algorithmic. But beyond that, there is something bigger which the human intuition can do, which no AI will replace that.
Excellent. One technology that will redefine telecom by 2035.
Non-terrestrial. Here we are, I'm expecting disruptive things. How we
Hmm.
see telecom communication today with the non-terrestrial players being matured
Hmm.
will change the game. It will be totally different. Like 2035 is quite far. I think we will be seeing in early 2030.
Oh, wow. Cloud, edge, or satellite network. If you could bet on only one of these next decade, which would that be?
Continuing from the last question, it will be satellite networks.
Right. One buzzword in telecom or AI that people misunderstand the most.
Cloud. Every time we say cloud, people look at the sky, yeah, the cloud.
If you could solve one challenge in the telecom industry overnight, what would that be?
I'm mostly concerned about the security and the privacy part of it. When we say privacy is a myth in this industry, if I could solve that problem, it would be the biggest thing that anyone can achieve. It's the privacy threats for the netizens are increasing, and then we even do not know what is the level that we are in. So
Correct.
that is a problem that everyone is solving, and that is what will be the top of my list.
Domain expertise or AI skills?
Domain expertise, because AI skill is like generic one. It
Hmm,
will solve, if you know the domain, you know the business problem you are solving. AI is only a tool. It is ultimately it's the need for the human and the world which we are solving. So AI is just a tool. I go
absolutely
for domain expertise.
right. Which will create a bigger competitive advantage over the next 5 years?
Mm, it will be more if you are more agile.
Uh,
Like, see, the previously the business was the business model, even for the bigger organizations, as I was mentioning, it was price point. Now it is becoming the quality of service. Tomorrow it may change. So the business models always had changed, but the cycle time, it has shortened. It has
correct.
shrunk very, very much. So being agile is the biggest competitive advantage that any organization can have, any person also can have. While saying that, I am not going for the word like people should become trendy wherever the world is going, run behind that, but have knowledge on where the world is going so that you know what is right and you know what is wrong for you.
Excellent. One habit that has helped you to grow as a technology leader throughout your career.
Just always being hungry for knowledge. It's I'm always there for any kind of trainings, formal, informal, going with different kinds of industry connects, talking to leaders. It's that has helped me the most.
One piece of advice for a young engineer aspiring to build career in the telecom and AI.
Be bold to experiment and be inquisitive, because that's how you will get to know many of the things which probably is now missing among the rest of the crowds, or 90% of the crowd, who are just being busy and uh, distracted, seeing dancing video of cats. Just be inquisitive, keep focus on, and that will be your biggest biggest weapon for improving in your career or building a career in telecom, even for any of the industries, not only telecom.
Right. Complete this sentence. The future of the communication is.
Exciting and empowering for
Okay.
a better world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Excellent. So now with this, I will open it up for questions, right? If anyone has any question for Paromita, feel free to ask. Okay. Any question from anyone? Okay. If not, like I would like to ask one question personally, right? I mean, coming from a telecom background, I have one of my friend here. No, yeah. Now he has a question already. I was just thinking that only. So Dr. Shondip Nondi is a assistant professor in Kolani Engineering Government College of of Electronics and Communication. So I have just requested him to join. He was panelist in one of our previous conversation. So as an academician, I have a query. If technology is evolving faster than the curriculum, what should be the fundamental objective of engineering education? Teaching current technologies or developing the ability to learn the future technologies?
I would say there's the basic will be to know what was there till today or what is
Hmm.
upcoming. and also having the ability that this is not the end of the book. So I have a book from page number 1 to page number 500.
Correct.
I go through it, done. Early days, it was right that I know everything. Now, whenever something comes up, I have a lot of time. It is not the situation anymore in this world. So every day things are changing. We have this version of GPTs and that version. This product is coming up, and it's a lot of geopolitical as well.
Mm.
So China things are coming up, then US is reacting to that. Different organizations are having their own tussles. In this universe, the most important thing for any student or any upcoming new professional in this industry would be the the regular process of learning. So they should be enabled enough to understand, or they should have this in their mind that whatever I have learned was the basic, and every day my learning continues. It's not that my curriculum has ended, I have stopped learning. It's not like that. So, but then is it only that thing that we need to learn? No, we have to have the basic ideas as well. What are the algorithms? What is algorithm? How it happens? Whatever new GPTs come, ultimately algorithm is one of the important things, most important things will people need to understand and think like that. Then only it will be helpful for any kind of problem solving that people will be having. People will probably not be fixing codes anymore, or very few. Like Google also has only 25%, I think 75% of the code is AI written, and rest 25% is human written or handwritten, handcrafted, I would say. So they will still have those areas, but then most important will be to see where the world is going and where I can learn more every day, every day.
Right. Any other question from anyone? Yeah, yeah. Shandi, please go ahead with the second one if you have. Okay. As a researcher, my query is in terms of propagation loss, hardware complexity, energy consumption, or spectrum availability, what are the major unresolved technical barriers in the 6G that industry is facing?
Yeah, for these mm, challenges that you are mentioning is present in 5G as well. So I would talk about that in this platform, or in this era where we are still struggling with these propagation loss, hardware complexity, etc., energy consumption. Would like to draw your attention towards the 6G as well. I think more questions are coming up. Will be more pertinent to the 5G as well. When we are thinking about energy, and when we are thinking about the sustainability of the whole industries, we see a lot of loss in different kinds of inputs. Like we have the loss in energy, we have the loss in the consumption, we have the loss in the spectrum availability. So there are multiple things here. There are political reasons where we need to have where we need to secure the spectrum. We need to have policies uh, on the energy consumption areas, where I was mentioning about the zero consumption, zero energy hardwares. So those are the areas that we need to that the R&D departments are already working on it. So propagation loss is one of the areas where I see the NTN will be coming up big time in very soon. So yeah, these energies are the major unresolvable technical barriers, as you also mentioned. It's not unresolvable, I would say, but we need to think about it in a different way. Industries are already working on each of these. When I am part of different AEMs and the different within my organization, and also in different other industry connects, I am seeing these challenges are getting triggered. The most important thing which I see is that how to acknowledge the problem, and then how to resolve it in terms of being agile, or very short, small changes one at a time, if we are moving in the right direction or not.
Absolutely. Um, I think Ankon has a question. Will charging system be relevant for 6G as well?
Yeah. By charging system, you mean, I think, how we are monetizing it or the prepaid charging system?
Ankon, is that what you're asking?
You can also
Yeah,
just
yeah,
unmute yourself.
monetization. Yeah,
Monetization part,
monetization.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. In the monetization part, 6G, it will be relevant in 6G as well, because what we are planning, or what we are hearing that the organizations are planning, is more of a VIP kind of a model. So it's like in in plane, everybody is going from one point to the other point, right? So in telecommunication, everybody is sending some or other data from one point to the other point, but still in that, we have the business class, the first class, the economy class as well. So in that, we have slices in the networks which may be dedicated to specific usages. For example, very ultra low latency ones will be needed when we are sending data which are used for example, autonomous cars, autonomous vehicles, and operations, virtual medical treatments that we are doing. So for that, it will be a different slice which is ongoing, and it can be charged in a different way. However, I'm not saying that it will be, it is like a VIP treatment for only the blessed souls. Obviously, it will be on a need basis. So, charging of or the monetization of the 6G will absolutely be relevant. It is already relevant and it is getting started in Europe and few parts of US as well. It will be throughout 6G.
Excellent. Um, while choosing our service provider, what is the basic criteria we need to look into, even in this 5G era?
Yeah, as a user, what I prefer is more of a coverage and more of suiting to my needs. For example, usually these days we have multiple connections, right? We do not rely on one particular connectivity or one particular service providers. One we usually have for mobile connections while we are moving, one we have for DTH, and one we can say that for the ones that are moving, the coverage will be a most important part. But while we are working, depending on the need, it is important that we choose that kind of an operator. For example, if I sit at home and I do mostly very heavy network usages, I would be using an operator which will give me higher bandwidth. But I will have to decide if a little bit of slow or lower latency can be, higher latency is what that is that is okay with me. So depending on my need, the service providers may be chosen. And as we see that it is more going from the concept of the biggest seller to the biggest consumer, so we may also have as a consumers may also have the the flexibility or the the independence of having more than one providers at the time.
Dola, you have a question?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Shubhabrata. Awesome discussion, Paramita. First of all, a lot of new insights, which probably, we gathered today. Thanks for those. I just have one question that with this 5G and 6G, there is a kind of network slicing which is in now, right? With some kind of isolation, definitely, which has been brought in for critical infrastructure. But there has been instances of security failures as well. The cross-slice security failures.
Yeah.
So how do such modern deployments they ensure a breach in the public lane, it does not spill over into this critical private ones.
The this is one of the biggest things that I was mentioning throughout the podcast, that is the biggest challenge that I would like to solve as well. However, the only thing which can be very useful is the zero trust policies. Whenever information is entering a network, there might be a slight relaxed to it, or whenever any information is going out of a network, that's where we need to implement the most important thing, which is the zero trust. Is it authorized? Is it taking any other information which is not allowed to? Is it just exact what it needs to know and what it has asked for both together? So zero trust policies
Mhm.
would be the most important, especially at the exit path for any kind of security breach that can be that can be identified and that can be secured. But this is one of the important things, Dola, that the leaders of the world and the technologists of the world uh, are most concerned about, because security and privacy are like, yeah, that's the most vulnerable area that we are in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's more thought to be given to these architectures hardening, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, Paramita.
Okay, the last question that I have is, as Shondeep also told, and you also mentioned that we cannot just restrict ourselves to a kind of syllabus, and we need to, and things are changing so fast.
Mm.
But we also need to understand the practical challenges of revising the syllabus so often. So, what should be the right model of the engineering education? That means, are we going to really study maybe in every semester? I mean, since you are a technology leader and an industry expert, what would be your recommendation that in our syllabus, let's say semester syllabus, there should be kind of 75% weightage on the syllabus and 20% on the practical things which are evolving. In that case, we can strike a right balance between sticking to the syllabus and also trying to, because things are evolving so fast, we should be keeping at least 25% or 20% of the time or marks secured, right, for the upcoming technology, so that they are also, because unless and until we give them that kind of right weightage, marks weightage, they are little skeptical, right? Why should I learn? Okay, take a, when we'll get a kind of job, that time we will do it, right? But whenever you are giving them the weightage that, okay, if you do this, if you do a project on an upcoming technology, you will be given 20% of the marks, right, in the semester exam, they will also, right, get excited about it. Do you think like that could be a, I mean, proposition, or you have a better idea?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. We need to think about the mixture of
Hmm.
the curriculums. So 40-40-20 is
Yes.
what I
Okay.
would go for.
Okay.
40% it would be the theoretical algorithms, the basic thing, how it works. Then next 20% can be experimenting with what you know now.
Excellent.
It's kind of a practical basis, and the rest 20% should be what extra are you bringing on the table. Like if you are bringing new things, new algorithms, if you are bringing not new algorithms, but new, if I miss it, new GPT versions, if you are using something new that you are doing, what novelty that you are bringing, that should
Hmm.
be the last 20%, which will be making or breaking or basically differentiating between somebody who is like good at study and mugging up things and then producing,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
the other lot can be always hungry and always innovative and looking for more, going ahead with the industry, knowing about the industries like that. So 40 should be will be my vote.
Brilliant. So thank you so much again. As we come to the end of the today's conversation, one thing is abundantly clear. The future of communication is no longer just about connecting people. It's about creating intelligent, adaptive, and trusted network that will power every aspect of the digital life. Now, today's discussion has taken us from the AI native to an autonomous network of to 6G, quantum computing, quantum networking, right, agile transformation, responsible AI, and the skills needed for the future workforce. While the technologies are fascinating, the real takeaway is that the innovation is ultimately driven by people, their vision, their collaboration, and willingness to embrace change responsibly. So, Paramita, thank you so much for sharing your experience, insight, and the forward looking perspective. Your journey and practical examples have helped demystifying, right, some of the biggest transformation shaping the telecommunication industry, while reminding us that technology is the most powerful when it creates value for the business, society, and the people. To everyone who joined us today, thank you being such an active part of the conversation and asking the relevant questions. We hope this session has sparked new ideas, encouraged fresh perspectives, and inspired you to keep learning in a world that technology continues to evolve at an unprecedented pace. On behalf of Agile Synergy, thank you once again, Paramita, for spending your time with us, and thank you once again, right, for this wonderful audience, right, for your participation and thoughtful engagement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.